special edition of Hypnotist Bernie's Exposition. Joining us here tonight is Emily Thomas. She just graduated from a master's program at a prestigious music college in New York. Tell us a little bit about that.
I just graduated from the Juilliard School.
Oh, okay.
In flute, and I studied with the principal flutist of the New York Philharmonic,
Okay.
Mr. Robert Langevin,
Okay.
for 5 years.
Okay. I'm going to ask this question. What got you into music, especially that instrument?
It's a really crazy story. I always wanted to play music.
Okay.
So I started playing the cello, not by choice. It was just the instrument that my parents suggested
Okay.
when I was 4.
Okay.
And then a tornado destroyed my town. Actually, it took the cello away.
Oh, wow.
And then we moved into a new location, and the
wow.
next door neighbor was a flute teacher.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, wow, I got moved from the cello to the flute. There's probably a reason why, and I'm going to take this seriously.
It's like you were the chosen one.
Yeah, it was kind of like a
There's
destiny.
a bigger purpose for you to play the flute.
So I was pretty astonished by that, so I took it seriously. I wanted to be a musician anyway, but to be moved from one instrument to the other was a kind of sign to me. And I was very serious, and my teacher was the Suzuki method,
Okay.
which is mainly for strings and piano,
Okay.
but flute also, and I studied with some very good teachers. And then I went to a boarding high school
Oh, wow.
in Interlochen, Michigan, which is like up here, if this is Michigan.
All
It's
right.
very cold there. Going from Alabama to
Oh,
Michigan
cool.
was a big change.
It must be pretty warm in Alabama. Right?
It's very warm. I think it's probably
Okay.
95 degrees right now down there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So New Yorkers don't have anything to complain about.
It's true. It's true. How long have you been living in Michigan?
I was living in Michigan for 3 years,
Okay.
and then I went to Juilliard in 2003 and started my undergraduate, and I did my undergrad and master's together at
Oh, wow.
Juilliard and finished
wow.
it in 5 years.
Oh, wow. That's very impressive.
Thank
That's
you.
very impressive. So of all the school, why did you pick that particular one?
I picked Juilliard because of Mr. Langevin.
Okay.
He's principal of the New York Philharmonic, and I didn't know anything about him
Okay.
until January of 2003. I took a lesson with him, and I felt a very strong connection with him as a teacher. And in music, I think that's the number one thing. If you and the teacher
Sure.
get along,
Sure.
and you feel you can really grow as a person, but also as a musician, then that's the right choice. And I think, he obviously felt the same for me, because they only
Okay.
accepted one flute, and there were 300
wow.
people that applied.
Wow, that is very impressive. That's even harder than getting into the medical school, if you think about it.
Well, it's even
So-
harder to have a career. That's the other thing about music.
It's true.
Now that I'm out of school, it's like, everything is a step, getting into school and
Right.
so on.
Right.
And then you're thrown out into the world, and it's a really huge ocean of people trying to do what I'm doing.
Now, Emily is very humble here. She's actually played at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, thank you, Cara.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've played there a couple times, and every time I'm playing in the Stern Auditorium, the large hall,
Right.
I've played in Zankill Hall also.
Wow.
You can really feel the history in there.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. The woodwork and the design and everything of the actual interior is so beautiful.
Okay.
So it's an inspiring experience, the beauty of the place. And then the sound quality is incredible.
Oh, it must be.
You can talk like this, and someone can hear you out,
Oh, wow.
way out in the audience.
Oh, wow. So no talking behind people's back.
No, no pencils on the stand.
Okay.
Can you imagine if you turned a page and a pencil fell down? It would be so loud.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I was afraid of doing. But it's always a pleasure to play there.
How did you feel? What was going through your mind when you first go in there and rehearse in that space?
Rehearsal's nice because you can kind of calm down a little bit. Because I've played there 3 times, and every time it's an honor.
Right.
And it's amazing. They also have incredible stagehands. Like, you aren't allowed to move a music stand. If you even start to touch it, there's someone that comes running from off stage and they move it for you. The union is very intense.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
just that, you feel like, wow, this is really serious. You know, I can't even touch the music stands here. So, and I think everyone plays better there.
Okay.
So the concentration is really intense in there.
That's amazing. Do you feel a difference in your skill or confidence after playing there?
I guess so. It's kind of like the first time I ever went to Europe, I felt really changed because the culture's different and everything.
Wow.
But the first time I played in Carnegie Hall, I think I matured about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how to explain it. It's got to be a combination of everyone that has played there before you, and the sound quality, the beauty, and something more magical about that place. It's almost like Carnegie Hall is a person, like it has a personality unto its own.
Wow.
And it tells you, play better.
Right.
You're going to be a star.
Right.
Rise to the occasion.
Right.
So I've never played in a hall that's ever spoken to me, and that place does.
And you have some videos online.
Yes, I do.
Were they of you playing in Carnegie Hall?
Actually, the videos online are from Juilliard.
Okay.
Inside one of the main halls at Juilliard, there's a couple halls. This hall's called the Paul Hall, and there were just some recitals I played at school, and I liked the concerts. I think they went pretty well, and so that's why I put them up. I have a lot of concerts. I play a concert at least every week.
Oh, wow.
So I just chose some interesting pieces.
Are you looking for an assistant?
I'm always looking for help.
Oh, all right.
Agents or managers or anything.
All right, okay, say hi.
EmilyThomas.tv. Is it my website?
Yes, say it again. What is it again?
EmilyThomas.tv. You can check out my website.
Very easy to remember. And for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, we're going to put that link right up there.
Thank you.
I feel like there's more to be said about Carnegie Hall, but
sure.
Just feel free to like drop in some reference or experience anytime during this. Even when you're hypnotized, you can just pop up and say, "Oh yeah, I remember that time."
Okay, no problem.
And you were also on a soap opera.
Yes, I am on All My Children pretty regularly.
Wow.
I just met with them this week to discuss my future on the show, so I might be there a lot.
Ask them if they're looking for a long-haired Chinese guy.
I will. Definitely will.
How did you get that gig?
That is a really interesting story. I had no intention of becoming an actor. If you would have told me a year ago what I'm doing right now, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, no way, I don't believe you at all.
Don't worry about it. People laugh at me all the time.
No, not just that. Just like, I would have laughed because I never thought it would happen, you know? I was going only for music.
Right. Okay.
And All My Children's music director, Terry Walker, is a great guy. He called Juilliard and asked for a flutist and a guitarist.
Wow.
And at the time, I was dating a guitarist. So it made it very simple, and we had done a lot of concerts. We recorded a CD together. So Juilliard contacted me, and I went over to All My Children, which is actually right behind Juilliard.
Wow.
And I met with them, and we worked it out. I arranged the music and recorded it, and then I shot all day with them on a location on Long Island for a special wedding during sweeps, which is like the time where they put a lot of money into their episodes.
Wow.
And then some of the producers came up to me and they were like, "We really like your look, and you're a lovely person. Would you like to act for us?" And I was thinking, oh, they're just kidding, right? And then they actually called me about 3 weeks later and asked me if I'd like to join AFTRA and if I would like to start working for them.
Okay, wow.
So I said sure, and I've been working for them for a year, just on and off. And unfortunately, with my schedule from concerts and Juilliard, I couldn't do very much in the fall or the spring, but I started back a few weeks ago, and it's really incredible. And then I decided a few months ago to actually pursue acting as a career.
Wow.
So since then, I've done 2 feature films, and I just got a manager, and I'm trying to get an agent, and I have a really great manager right now. His name's Bob McGowan.
Say hi to Bob.
Hi, Bob. Please watch. I hope you have time, because he's a really huge manager. He started Julia Roberts and Jack Nicholson.
if you're looking for a long-haired Chinese in Cambridge and Boston, give me a call.
So that's the story with the acting.
Oh wow, this is great. This is very inspirational. It's like an all-American story. You know, if you work hard,
That's true.
good things gonna come to you.
That's true.
And that is not it, right? Emily here also have her own TV show.
Yeah. Yes, that's the other thing I'm doing. I really want to bring the acting and
Right.
the music together.
Right.
So I thought the best way to do that is to host my own show,
Right,
produce my own show, and I interview celebrity
right,
artists, classical musicians,
Right.
and what I'm planning on for this summer is raising about $1 million so I can
Oh,
really
wow.
make it professional on TV, get it on a network.
right.
And I want to partner with Carnegie Hall and
Right.
Lincoln
Right.
Center and interview the top artists that come in every week
Wow.
and have it like a promotional thing for their concerts, but also for the artists.
And you had a couple of shows produced and they're
Yes.
online.
They are. They're on emilythomas.blip.tv.
All right. We'll put that online as well. So I saw you interviewing one of the composers for Lord of the Rings.
The flutist, his name is James Galway. He
Oh, wow.
sold over 30 million albums.
Wow.
He's world renowned in classical music, not as a flutist only, but like just as a huge star. He's
Wow.
played with every major orchestra. He was formerly principal of the Berlin Philharmonic.
Wow.
Yeah, he is really high up there, and he's done everything from pop music to film scores to classical music. He's really
Oh, wow.
crossed genres.
Wow. And when I was watching the interview, he was just, very cool,
Yeah, it's really
down
cool.
to earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I very admire your work.
Oh,
It's
thank
as
you.
if like musicians don't really have a voice. Like they are being heard,
It's
but
true.
they don't really have a voice. And
It's true.
and I really think that it's going to be a great project.
Thank you.
And good luck with that. And
Thank
watch
you.
for her.
Thank you.
And so, on top of that, Emily also fight crime during the night.
Super Emily.
Super Emily, but we don't have enough time tonight. Join us next week. So, since this is a hypnosis show, we have to get on topic. What would you like to work on today?
Well, as you just mentioned, I'm doing so many things, and there's so many opportunities coming to me. I'm very stressed out about which ones to pick and which ones not to pick, and what will further me the most and what will go along my goals the best. Like how to prioritize what I'm doing.
Right.
Because I know that people that get to the top, they're actually there because they're really talented and they
Right.
worked hard, but they also had someone to help them prioritize.
Right.
Because one person cannot do everything.
Right.
So that's my biggest horrible thing. That's what gives me nightmares, and that's what I'm having issues with. So that's what I want to focus
Tell
on.
me more. Where do you get the idea or the phrase "one person cannot do everything"?
I guess I'm telling myself that I can't do everything that I'm trying to do, like to the extent that I'm doing it.
Okay.
You know, maybe it's coming from me.
It's true.
More than
You have a great
other
team,
people.
working with you.
Yes. I have managers and helpers and other musicians and friends and family, but I need, I guess, to be more organized on my own because
Okay.
I'm traveling a lot. I've only been in New York for 4 days out of this month.
Oh wow.
I was in LA for a week and I was in Turkey for 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
So it's really hard once I get back home.
That's
and
for
I'm
your
like,
crime fighting job, right?
Yes. I'm solving the world's
Right,
issues and
right.
hard crime.
Right.
I take care of people. If you know what I mean.
Right. So I can tell that you have a very busy schedule, right? And we can't really change that. And you have a great team of people supporting you. And from what I'm seeing, you're a great people person. You're really smart.
Thank you.
You have great credentials. And good people is going to come along, right? Like I'm confident in that. I'm sure that you know that it's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you want to improve about yourself that could make all this come together? What could Emily do?
I guess for one, I could always have a positive take on everything all the time. I really try to.
Okay.
But I think that might be the big kicker.
Okay.
Always being positive, never being negative, because there are crises that happen every day in my life.
True. No,
And I have to just
care to tell a story?
figure them out. Oh, people issues. Some people flake out on me where they say they're going to do something and they don't do it, and then I have to compensate for that. Or
Right.
generally other issues, or traveling. Let's say I miss a flight. Okay, I got to figure that out, or it gets canceled, or something insane happens that I wasn't, expecting. Just issues, logistic issues stress me out a lot.
Right.
Getting from point A to point B, and then usually that
Right.
can really get messed up, or I don't know, not getting into a situation like going into something and not knowing exactly what I'm going into, and then being disappointed about what it is that I signed up for, something like that. That happens sometimes, or vice versa, going into something not knowing how big of a deal it is.
Right.
So sometimes that can be a crisis. So I have to kind of be on my toes every day when I walk out the door.
Okay. Still haven't told me. Well, you've talked a lot about what you're experiencing. Tell me more. What would you like to change into? Like, if I have a magic wand today, and I can help you to become anything,
Okay.
what would you like to be?
Fearless.
Oh wow. Oh wow. As if fighting crime is not already. Well, I just want to say this, right? You are, from what I can tell, I don't know you for a long time. You have a lot of courage. Maybe you just haven't found your way to get to know your courageous side.
Right.
So tell me, what would that fearless Emily be like?
I guess, it's a matter of me being calm in all situations, trying to really take things as they come. Let's say if I lost $20,000 in the stock market, that's okay. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that kind of stuff can really, not only me, but anybody, can really jolt you. And then you freak out, and then you have like a negative attitude, and then
Right.
everything else spirals down.
So do you feel that I don't want to give it a label, let's say, that bad feeling that you want to resolve,
Mm-hmm.
is it from things that already happened or things that you're about to face?
I'm not sure. It must be, if you have bad things happen, like if someone close to you has died or tried to kill themselves or so on, which, that's happened to me, you're always thinking, when is this going to happen again, kind of thing.
Okay.
So how do I prepare for it? You can't, really. So I have to give up
Right.
on that.
Right. It's true. So tell me more about fearless. What does that word mean to you?
For some reason, even when I have to make a phone call to someone important, I get scared.
Right.
Or I'll put it off a little bit. I'll be like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow.
Right.
I'm getting better,
Right.
but still. Or I'll be like, oh, it's too loud where I am. I can't call them here. Weird excuses I make.
Right.
So, or writing
It's perfectly
emails.
legitimate.
I guess.
Right.
Writing emails to people that are really important that I need to write emails to. And I get really nervous. Or I'm in the middle of writing a column on my perspectives as an American of Turkey.
Okay.
And I'm extremely nervous about it because
Right.
I know that it's a national newspaper and everyone will read it.
Right.
This kind of stuff. And I'm like, I've been trying to write it and I'm scared. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I've got to just do it and email it.
Right.
But I'm scared that maybe what I say is going to be picked at and people are going to not agree with me, or I'm going to offend someone or something like that.
Do you find that emotion is while you're at it or
It's
before
before.
you start?
It's right now. Like, I've been thinking about what I'm going to write, for example, for a week.
Right.
Racking my brain. Should I say that? No, I shouldn't say that. Should I say what I really think, or should I say what they want me to say? or what I think they want me to say. What is it that I think they want me to say?
What do you want to say?
What I want to say is basically that Turkey was a really spiritual, mystical, enchanting place, and I didn't really know anything about it before I went there. And the people were intriguing. I mean, they were living a totally different lifestyle than what we live here. It's very religious.
Right.
It's very family oriented, and it's slower paced.
Right. Good coffee.
Very good coffee. The coffee is really important, especially for women. If you can't make that coffee, you basically can't get married. That's the image I got.
Wow.
They judge you off of how you cook and how you make Turkish coffee.
Oh, wow.
So I went to many dinners, and I learned how to make Turkish coffee. So.
Oh, all right. You're all set.
I'm okay.
Yeah, okay.
They give you presents like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
Like, they treat the guests of dinners as if they're the guest. You know, when you go to someone's house for dinner, here you bring them something, like a bottle of wine or something like that. When you go to someone's dinner in Turkey, they give you pottery and bracelets and scarves, and I couldn't believe it. I was shocked, you know, and I felt bad I didn't have any presents to give them.
Right.
So, I mean, Turkey it was crazy. I went to 8 different cities, and I was interviewed 3 times on their national news.
Oh,
and
wow.
it turned into a real
So
political
that's,
thing.
you are the one I saw when I was watching Turkish TV.
I look so American. I mean, there's no
yeah.
doubt about it that I could be like the poster child for America with the blonde hair and blue eyes. So I think that had something to do with it, because I was there playing concerts, and they were covering the concerts, but then they would be like, what do you think about the Democratic and Republican Party? Which one do you support? And who are you going to vote for the election? And they started going into this stuff, and I was honest, you know, and said what I thought. And so they kept asking me more political questions, and then, you know, while I was there, they made a documentary about the whole thing. So I was being filmed 24 hours a day, and there were people I was talking to, you know, about abortion and how I feel about different, you know, what should the government, you know, tell you what to do locally or nationally, who should be in charge there, and how different systems of politics and stuff. Wow. So I got into really interesting conversations that are now going to be where people can see them. So it makes me a little nervous. And
well, what you've just said is very generous, and it tells your story, and it's very easy to listen to or read about. Why don't you just write that?
I guess I will, now that I've talked to you.
You know, just transcribe the tape. And
that's true.
And off you go. Well, I don't know who you're writing for, and I don't think it's my place to, you know, question your literary competency. But I guess people is just looking for what you're thinking about, right?
Right.
You know, they when people call you, they want to talk to you, right?
Right.
They don't want to talk to, you know, another person who is pretending to be someone else, right?
Or what I think that they want me to be. Right. That's the worst thing in auditions also.
Yeah.
What does this committee want me to play like? Or, you know, something like that. It's really horrible. Like if you go to an orchestra audition, oh boy, you know, everybody's playing the same excerpts.
Right.
Afternoon of the Faun, Daphnis and Chloe, Prokofiev's Classical Symphony.
Right.
And there's a certain way you have to play them, right? I mean, the composer wrote notes and dynamics and so on.
Right.
But then there's this other thing in your head like, oh, I think that I'm going to play it like in a box.
Right.
I'm not going to play too emotional.
Right.
Why do we have these thoughts? I'm not the only one that has them. That's partially why I don't want to play in an orchestra at all, because I don't even want to audition. I don't want to go through this horrible audition process. You fly to San Diego, you play for 5 minutes, and they judge your whole life based on this 5-minute audition.
Right.
It's really brutal, and you're behind a screen. You never talk to anybody. You never get any comments.
Right.
You spent $600 on the whole thing.
Wow.
That's what classical music is like right now, and that's why I'm going in and doing my own thing and doing solo work and chamber music, because I'm the boss there. I can say, I'm going to play this piece and I'm going to play it this way, and I don't care what you think, because the audience is what matters, and if the audience likes it, that's great. The other musicians, if they have a problem with it, doesn't even matter. They're not paying me. Right. But in an orchestra, The musicians are important.
Okay. Well, tell me if you think this is a fair assessment, and you're perfectly okay to disagree, right?
Sure.
So if I made the sentence, Emily could feel a little bit nervous because she's afraid that her true self may not be in line with what people are expecting of her.
That could be said, definitely, and I think a lot of people also have that issue.
Right.
Not only me.
Well, like I always tell people, right, I'm hypnotist, not a mind reader. And so are you, right? Like there's no way to, but this is stepping beyond scope of like psychology and hypnosis, right? But I guess like there's no way to know what the person is looking for, right? And even if you
That's
have
true.
a perfect history of the way he decides things, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he may have like 5 cups of coffee and decided for something else that
Yeah.
day, right? You
Yeah.
know. So, what do you think you need to make you feel confident? Well, we can both agree that the best way to do this is to just do your best as
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Yeah,
And the old saying is the best you can do is all you can do, right?
that's true.
And if they don't really want, if they don't, not in a rejection way, right? Like, but if you are not whom they're looking for, then you are
Yeah.
not whom they're looking for, right?
Exactly.
Even if you can somehow lie and cheat. Okay, that's like negative word. But even if you can somehow pretend you're someone else, are you going to be really happy?
No, because you'll have to keep it up. It's like
Right.
when you're lying to your parents, you know, like, yeah, I did my homework or
Right.
whatever, and then you have to remember that you told them that and somehow make up for it.
Right.
That's complicated. I don't
Right.
have the energy for that.
And I can tell you are like a down-to-earth, genuine kind of person, and
Yeah.
and you know, playing the game is not really you.
No,
That's how I feel. Right?
that's absolutely right.
And you're doing very well in your own unique way, right?
Thank
a
you.
lot of musicians would do anything to be at your position, right? You know, and you have achieved all that by being yourself, right?
That's true.
Right. And okay, you don't have to tell me this if you don't want to, but I can tell that there's something in your past that is holding you.
Yeah, it's probably all of this stems around, you know, mother-father, sister-brother relationships, you know,
Right.
something like that, where I'm trying to make them proud. You know, who doesn't want to make their mother happy and their father happy?
I'm
So-
sure they're very proud of you.
They are. But I think anybody sitting there thinking, what can I do that will make them more happy? What can I do? Instead of just going, this is what makes me happy.
Right.
And since I've been in school my whole life, it carries over to like, what does my teacher want?
Right.
And, oh, my teacher said I can't do this, but I can do that.
Right.
So, do I listen to them or do I listen to me? And now
Right.
finally I'm out of school just this week for the first time, and I'm realizing that's not how the world works. The world is like really free. It's your canvas.
Right.
You have the paintbrush. You do what you want. You
Right.
put the paint on that canvas.
Right.
So that's a pretty big realization that I just had, and I want to go further with that. You know, like, let's say I want to interview Lauren Mizell,
Right.
and I've played with him,
Right.
but I'm scared of picking up the phone and calling him, which
Right.
makes no sense.
Me too. If I have to pick the phone and call him, I won't know what to say.
That's true. I mean, in a way, you always
Oh, see
think
if he will come on to the show. We'd love to have him on the show.
that would be very interesting.
That would be
Actually,
very interesting.
I would really fascinated to see what he would want to be improved on. You know, he's world-renowned, done everything. Composer, violinist,
Right.
conductor, music director of the New York Philharmonic.
Right.
And I've been to his house. I stayed with him for 2 weeks, but yeah, I'm still like afraid to call him.
Right.
Like, oh, he doesn't have time for me, or this kind of negative energy that I
Right.
just need to erase. And I guess you're right. It's got to come from somewhere, and it's got to be, you know, what limitations I'm putting on me based on what I think other people have put limitations on me.
Right.
Even if other people haven't put any limitations on me, I think they have.
Here's an interesting thought, right? And we have to start the hypnosis pretty soon. Oh, what was that thought?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Do you think you have outgrown those limitations?
I think I have.
You know, limitations were there for a reason.
Maybe so.
You know, a 3-year-old, you're not, you know, don't climb the fence.
Yeah.
Don't go outside the door. But,
Don't eat
you know,
50 cookies.
Yeah. Well, that has wisdom.
Yes.
And don't eat a whole turkey all by yourself.
Yeah.
In one sitting. No. Yeah. That's a limitation I should put on myself.
Ah!
Well, but like, you know, as you grow, right, those limitation no longer applies. But a lot of people, from what I've heard or talked to, feels as if they are sort of still holding on to a certain degree of comfortness by holding on to those limitations, I think.
Yeah, maybe it makes them comfortable. In a way, that's true. That's the other thing, like having a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Of course, I could also become an office worker or something any day.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
You know, and I'm risking a lot by doing what I'm doing already. But I need to risk even more to be successful at what I'm doing.
Right.
I know that you just have to have freeness beyond what anyone, normal person on the street could imagine. Like really tapping into yourself, your emotions, kind of unzipping on
So
stage.
do you feel that you're using those limitations as a clutch?
Maybe I am, yeah. It's really, that could be it. Like putting myself
It's
here
like
instead of there.
When you have to go outside, you know, it's like the what do you call it? You know, in a bicycle you have a learner.
Yeah,
Learner set.
the little extra
Yeah,
wheels
this
on the
extra wheel,
side.
right? You know.
Training wheels.
Yeah, training wheels, right? Maybe you're afraid to let that go.
It's true.
But you know, you can. You know.
It's rejection, to be honest.
Right.
Those training wheels are there because if you don't put yourself out and you don't make that phone call, you don't have to face that. No, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. Or, no, you're going to have to pay me $10,000 to do that. Or whatever the limitation or the form of rejection is. Like, why am I not calling this person or that person or sending them a press kit? You know, or sending them a CD of mine and letting them hear my work so that they can contract me for a recital.
Right.
Why am I not doing this
Or
every
sending
day?
them the link on YouTube of this.
Exactly.
Of this day.
What is it that's holding you back? It's got to be rejection. My dad's a salesman, and he has to face it every day. And I think that's
what I used to do.
You used to be a salesman?
Yeah.
Well,
Good times.
it's hard. It's really hard, and I admire him so much for walking into people's offices and showing them these paintings that he's trying to sell them, and every day.
Art.
He works with artists, and
That's really hard.
It's really hard.
That's really hard.
He's doing commercial sports art.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of something that not many people are doing. He's been doing it for 15 years, and you know, at the beginning it was really not working out, but now it is.
All right.
So it's like you have to stick with it.
Okay.
From what I've seen from his career, and he some days he doesn't do anything. This week he sold $11,000, which is great for him.
Right.
You know, and that's the same thing as a freelance musician or actor. We have to be able to face rejection. Or hypnotist. Rejection.
Right.
Someone's not interested in you because the thing is, he has a product, but for me, the product is me.
Right.
That's the hardest part about being an artist, because if someone rejects you, then you think, my God, I'm a failure. I am a failure. Me, not the product. I'm not good enough. I need to work out more. I need to eat less. I need to sleep more. I need to buy better makeup. I need to do this and that and blah, blah, blah. Better clothes, this and this. And on top of that, I suck as a person. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not in touch with myself enough.
Do you say that to yourself?
I think that's what I say unconsciously. I'm not conscious of what I'm telling myself. You know, when I get rejected, let's say I do an audition and they say, oh, that was, you know, they always say, oh, we had so many applicants this year. It was so difficult to choose. I'm sorry you were not one of them. You know what I mean? They always say that. They're very nice. But then you're in your head, you're going, what did I do wrong? You know, what was wrong with that recording, or what happened here? You know, and
Right.
there's no comment, specific comment. So
Right.
then you start, you know, picking apart every aspect of your personality